Hello students, myself Mrs. Hansa Pawar from New Catholic Mission School, Jhabua, and I will be teaching you 11th business study. So dear students, firstly I wanted to congratulate you all for passing 10th class exams so that you have decided to take commerce as a mainstream in 11th and 12th and for your future prospects. So I wanted to congratulate you all for this because commerce is of course a different subject for you, like science and maths which you have been studying in your previous classes, but commerce is something different subject for you of course, but it is not very difficult. Okay, so let me assure you, I will be here to help you out in understanding all the concepts of commerce. So today in this video I will be teaching you class 11th business study as per the NCERT syllabus strictly. Okay, so we are following the CBSE board only, and as far as the book is concerned, in business study you have only one book. Okay, and class 11th business study you have only one book, and this particular one book is divided into two parts, that is part A and part B. So this is all about your books and the same notes and whatever videos we are making. So I just wanted to tell you that these videos and whatever I am explaining and this PPT is available to you on our school WhatsApp app. Okay, so if you have been joined in that WhatsApp group, so you can get all the notes related to this PPT in the form of PDF which is available to you. So you can go through those notes also. It will be easier for you to understand everything whatever I am teaching you here right now. Okay. So dear students, we will start first with the syllabus. Okay. So just I wanted to explain you that you have one book only which is divided into two parts. Part A, that is foundation of business. Part B, that is finance and trade. In part A, as you can see that there are total 6 chapters. Okay. In part B you have 4 chapters. So total in your book you have 10 chapters to complete, and these are the marks distribution for each and every unit and each and every chapter. Okay. So 40 marks for part A and 40 marks for part B according to your final examination paper. So total 40 plus 40 is 80. So your total examination, that is total marks in your examination will be of 80 marks, plus 20 will be of your project work. Okay, which you will submit later on. And as you can see here, these are the topics deleted by the CBSE board. As you all know that the country is dealing with the corona pandemic, because of which we cannot continue the school in a routine way, regular way. And that is why CBSE board has decided with that they will reduce 30% of the course. From the total course they have reduced 30% of the syllabus. So this is the 30% syllabus which have been deleted from your textbooks. We will not study this. Why? Because it has been deleted. So these are the topics from various chapters and we will not study this. It is available of course in your textbook. Okay. So these are the chapters. This is the syllabus. Your question paper will be of 80 marks, 40 marks each for each part or each section. Okay, and 20 marks for your project work. Now today, as I said, that we will start with business study of class 11th, and your chapter 1 is nature and purpose of business. Okay, and these are the contents which we are going to finish. See, the first topic, history of trade and commerce. You will wonder that some few topics or some few contents are there actually which you have studied in your previous classes, that is in social studies in class 9th and 10th. So first, not to waste the time, we will start with history of trade and commerce. Trade and commerce, which is not something new for India. Okay, since time immemorial, that is from primitive time or from in ancient time, we have been continued with the practices of trade and commerce. What is trade? It is buying and selling of goods and services or exchange of goods and services. Okay, so we have been dealing with this practice or concept since time immemorial. If you could remember, in social studies you have studied about the European countries, the East India Company, which have come here just for the purpose of flourishing their trade. So trade and commerce is not something new for us. Okay. So some evidences or fact which have shown that trade and commerce was the base of our ancient Indian economy, and this period was actually marked by the civilization like Harappan and Mohenjo-daro. Okay, they have initiated or they have started with the practices of trade, that is buying and selling or the exchange process, which was continued or initiated by them only, and substantial commercial activities and urban development they have so far done. Since that time, India got connected to adjoining countries. That means since that time only we have been connected with foreign countries for the purpose of trade, and with these adjoining countries we have been connected through road route and through sea route. That is all domestic trades which were actually constituted by the network of roads and leading to Silk Route. As you have studied in social studies also, that our country was rich and having abundance of natural resources, and for which they have got worldwide reputation, especially our cotton, jute, silk, spices and so many other goods or products. So it was Silk Route which have been connected with various cities or countries through network of roads. East and west routes, that is the country's east and west routes were linked by sea and were used for the trade of spices. Spices means masale, spices, and which was known as spice route. And the progress of domestic and international trade that is all domestic as well as international trade, there have been progress in ancient India, because through trade only the flow of wealth was incoming, flow of wealth was coming to India, and because of this trade only our country was developing. The economy of the country was developing because of these commercial activities. So this was all about the history of trade and commerce. And before starting this chapter 1, you must understand that what was our history in terms of trade and commerce, in terms of various other concepts which we will continue. Now, second was banking system. That means during that time what kind of banking system we have. As such, we do not have any banks. The work of bank was actually done by various money lenders, the sahukars, and with the progress of economic life, that means our economic life was progressing not with the paper money. That time only the availability was there of metallic coins, that is metallic coins was used for the purpose of exchange, for the purpose of trade. So the metal coin became the common medium of exchange that time. People began to deposit precious metals with sahukars. That means, as I said, that there were no banks. Okay, so only sahukars and money lenders were there. So the common people of India, they used to deposit this metallic coin to the sahukars and money lenders who act as a banker. These sahukars or money lenders played a very special role in lending the money. Lending the money means to provide, to make it available, to give the money, and financing the domestic trade. The work which is done by bankers now, right now, this same work was done by the sahukars and the money lender, and they used to finance the trade also. When we say to finance means, of course it's a new term for you. To finance means to invest the money, to provide the money for starting any business, any kind of thing. Okay, so that is to finance. So these people became financial also. Okay, so they used to finance the domestic trade also. Domestic trade means trade within the countries, borders of the country. They used to charge the main thing about these sahukars and money lenders, with which they have exploited the common or ordinary people, that they used to charge a very high rate of interest over these lending of money. Now next is rise of intermediaries. What was the role of intermediary? Who are intermediaries? The mediators between the buyers and the sellers. These are called as intermediaries. So these intermediaries played a very important role in actually promotion of trade and commerce. That is, trade and commerce was promoted, was increased or was developed just because of these intermediaries, because these intermediaries, as I said, that they played a very vital and important role between buyers and sellers, acting as a link between both of them. And these people are commonly known as brokers, agents, distributors for wholesale and retail trade. When we say wholesale and retail trade means, wholesale trade means where a trader is selling the quantity in bulk, whereas retail trade, purchase small quantity and sell small quantity to various consumers. Okay. So they are acting as a distributor for wholesale and retail trade also, they are called as brokers also, commission agent also, and they have actually helped in expanding the trade in our country. Even credit transactions all were done because of them only. When we say credit transactions means exchange or any kind of deal of goods and services. So such kind of transactions, len-den, exchange, it was happening on credit basis. Credit basis means which you can give it afterwards, the money which you can pay it afterwards. So all credit transactions were possible, and they also help in availability of loans. That means that time, as I said, banks were not there. The loans was made possible only because of these money lenders, and because of this they have increased various commercial activities in our country. Now what was the condition about transport? When we say transport means transportation system, it can be land transport, air transport or water transport. But that time, since technology was not so developed, country was in a stagnant and backward conditions, so only two transporting systems were available, that is land route, that is road route, and sea route, and both of them were used for the purpose of trade only. So land and water transport was very popular that time. During ancient time, road routes had served all the purpose of domestic trade. Whatever trade or commercial activities which is being done in the borders of our country, that is the domestic trade, was flourished because of road transport. They have got a link with the roads. And the sea route had initiated all kinds of foreign or international trade, which was possible because of sea route. I mean, that means through ships only they used to transport the goods from our country to other countries and from other countries to our country. So all export and imports was possible because of sea route. Then trading communities. When we say trading communities means, the communities means a group of people. Okay. When we say trading communities means all those group of people who are involved in trade, in trading activities, they have constituted a community of them. And in this community they have set certain rules, regulation, code of conduct. When we say code of conduct means it is the pattern of your behavior, behavioral pattern of all the traders, that how they will deal with various people whenever they will have a deal or agreement or exchange process, or whenever they are involved in buying and selling practices, how they will deal, what are the agreements. Okay, so all sort of things are actually framed by these trading communities for themselves, for their community. In different parts of the country, different communities dominated the trade, and they were called as merchants. There were different communities who were playing as a role of merchant. Merchants means businessmen basically. These trading communities have developed their own rules and regulation. As I said, they have developed or framed their own rules and regulation of continuing the trade. Code of conduct, the pattern of behavior, which even the kings were supposed to accept. That time kings rule were there, and they used to accept all the rules and regulations which were framed by these trading communities. The traders had to pay several kinds of taxes. That time they need to pay tariff tax, octroi duty, custom duty, various kinds of taxes which have been levied from them, and they were a major source of revenue for the government. Now also, today's time also, whatever taxes which we are paying to government, it is actually playing in the form of revenue. That is, it is called as a revenue for the government. That time also, all those traders who are actually paying various kinds of taxes, it was a major source of revenue for the government. It can be tariffs, custom duty, octroi duty, etc. So this was the trading communities. Now, as I said, that industrialization, industrial revolution, which you have studied in social studies. So our country was actually very backward at its stagnant stage in the terms of industrial development. There were not a better technology for us. Okay, people were ignorant about new technology and all that. So industrialization was not there. But after the independence, that is the period of 1950, when our country's economy has developed has set an economic planning commission. The people who are there in economic planning commission, they have set some 5-year plans which started from 1950, And after the independence, the process of rebuilding of economy started. That is, rebuilding our economy in terms of developing the industrial sector. It was initiated or started with the Economic Planning Commission set up in 1950, and which started with the era or with the time of 5-year plannings, that is Panchvarshiya Yojana. But despite lot of efforts, that means because of the 5-year plans were made just for the development of various sectors including industries, but still there were no development possible in our economy, and Indian economy could not develop at that rapid or fast pace or speed due to lack of capital formation. Why? There were certain reasons. Lack of capital formation. When we say capital formation means investment. There was a shortage of investment. No investment was done, no capital formation was done. Rise in population, that too, population was also keep on rising. So these were some of the reasons, and inadequate infrastructure. Infrastructure was not adequate, was not enough. Infrastructure means the facilities of roads, railways, transportation, communication, energy and so on. So infrastructure was weak, no capital formation, and population was keep on rising. So because of these three reasons, the economy could not develop. Besides, they have made, or Economic Planning Commission has made certain 5-year plans then also. And as a result, India relied means depend heavily on borrowings. Borrowings means to take money or to take anything from someone else, and later on you will pay that. So as a result, India relied heavily on borrowings from foreign sources, that is from foreign countries. We were again depending on the foreign countries for our various purposes, and finally agreed to economic liberalization in 1991. And finally we have framed this policy of liberalization. I hope you have studied this in social studies also. Liberalization means restriction free on trade. So liberalization policy, when it started in 1991, then the development actually took place. The recent initiative of governments such as, and now if we see this time, present times, so recent some development which have made by the government, that is Make in India, Skill India, Digital India, all these schemes or all this initiative which has been taken by the government just to improve or just to have a development in the economy in terms of exports and imports. And Make in India is an initiative which is launched by the Government of India on 25th of September 2014, and to encourage national as well as international trade. That means just to have an encouragement to increase the national as well, that is domestic as well as international or foreign trade, or foreign companies to manufacture their products in India, even for the foreign companies also and for the domestic companies also, so that they can manufacture more and more products in India. And when they will manufacture more products, production will be more. When production will be more, then it will be actually available for all the common and ordinary people. They can raise their standard of living. When the standard of living is raised, then country could actually develop. So looking to these, now we can say that India began to re-industrialize from that time, and now onwards if we see the present condition, a lot of industrial development is being taken place. Now the main topic, that was all the section A of chapter 1. Okay. Now this is section B, the second section or second part of your first chapter, which is basically, now we will go actually with business studies. Okay. So these are types of human activities. When we say human activities, means activities which are done by human beings. Okay. So all human beings perform some activities to satisfy their own needs. That is, all those activities which we are doing, actually we wanted to satisfy our own needs, wants, that is why we do such activities. So some of the activities are undertaken, that is done to earn money also, to earn money or to earn income, but others are performed to derive personal satisfaction. That means there are two kinds of activities. It can be economic and non-economic activities. When we say economic activities, means which are done to earn money, to earn in the form of salary, fees and so on. Okay. And some activities which are done just for personal satisfaction, to satisfy ourselves, like charity which we are doing, going to temple, going to mosque, going to church, and so many other religious practices which we are doing. So all these are just for our mental satisfaction, psychological satisfaction, that is non-economic activities, जो हम बाद में करेंगे. Human activities can be broadly classified. If we say these human activities are widely and broadly classified into two categories, economic and non-economic activities. Now starting with economic activities, as I said, that activities which are undertaken by people with the objective of earning money. That means all those activities which are actually undertaken with the objective or main aim of earning only profit, that is called as economic activities. Now what is profit? The amount whichever you are earning, if you are getting more than that, then that could be called as a routine income or routine amount which you are collecting. But when you get some more over that, whatever expenses which you have put on certain things in certain business, when you actually get more than that, whatever you have expenses which you have made, that is called as profit. Okay. So when activities which are undertaken for the purpose of earning money it is known as economic activities. These activities are basically concerned or related with production, that is the production of goods and services, this is also economic activities. Exchange process, exchange of goods and services, buyer and seller, and distribution of goods and services. Who is involved in distribution? The retailer and the wholesaler to consumers and to various people. And services, not only goods but services are also exchanged. Like if we are doing work somewhere, we are doing work for an employer, if you are doing work in a company, for the boss you are doing work, and in exchange you are getting the payment. So this is also known as exchange of services. So whether it could be production of goods and services, exchange of goods and services, or distribution of goods and services, all these activities are actually economic activities, and the purpose of these activities is just to create wealth, money, to create more and more wealth. That is the main purpose of all economic activities. Now some examples can be like production of a goods in a factory, whenever goods are produced or manufactured in a factory. Distribution, and why they are produced and manufactured? Just for fulfilling the purpose of that, supplying it into the market, okay, fulfilling the needs of various customers. So when production or manufacturing is done in certain factory, it is economic activities. Distribution of goods by a wholesaler or a retailer, again it is also economic activities. Practicing as a doctor in hospital, that means there are some doctors who are giving their work or who are giving their services in hospital in return of certain salary. As a lawyer in the court, that means if you are a lawyer and you are giving your services or help in court, or working as a teacher in a school. If you are as a teacher, you are working like me. If I am working in a school in return of certain salary which I am getting from the school, these all are economic activities, and it can be more than that. Then types of these economic activities, if we see broadly, we can classify these economic activities in three. It can be business, profession, and employment. When we say business, it is purely business. That is, it refers to all those economic activities which are connected with the production, purchase, sale, or distribution of goods and services. That means it can be production, it can be purchase of goods and services, sale of goods and services, and distribution. All this concerned with the economic activities, that is business. It can be for goods and services, and with the main aim should be to earn profit only. Then it is a business. Anything can be a business if its main aim is to earn profit only. It can be fishing, like a fisherman who goes to river for catching the fish. This is also business. Why? Because he is catching fish for selling it into the market. Mining, business of mining, farming, manufacturing, and so many other kinds of business or activities which are done just with the aim of earning profit or money or wealth. It can be called as a business. Then comes profession. When we say profession, means profession of a doctor, a teacher, a lawyer, anybody. These are professional degrees. Why? Because it requires some certain specific qualification, some training which have been gone through with these people. So it refers to the activities which require some special knowledge and skills to be applied by an individual to earn his living. like a work of doctor or a lawyer. Everybody cannot be a lawyer or everybody cannot be a doctor or an engineer. Why? Because they actually have gone through certain special degrees. They have educated themselves in certain degrees, qualification. They have been trained in such a way that they can become a doctor, he can become an engineer, he can become a lawyer, and so on. So it requires some special qualification and training, and why they are doing? Just to earn their living. The people who are engaged in professions are called as professional people. Teacher even is called a professional people, a doctor, engineer, because all they have gone through certain qualifications. These professional requires to get prescribed qualification which are prescribed by the certain organization, and training in which they have gone through in their respective profession, and they follow certain code of conduct. That is, all the professional degrees, they follow certain code of conduct, certain behavior, way of doing the work, and guidelines, that is rules and regulation, which is laid down by the professional bodies. Professional bodies here means, like for lawyer it is Bar Council of India, for doctors it is governed by Medical Council of India, that is MCI. So for each and every professional there are certain professional associations who are framing certain rules, regulations, and all these professional people, they need to follow those rules and regulations framed by these professional associations. Then comes employment. It refers to an activity in which an individual works regularly for another person. So there are two persons basically in employment: an employer who recruit you for the work, an employee who is working for his employer. In return he will get the salary. So there are two people, employer and employee. So for another person and gets remunerated. When we say remunerated means in terms of salary and wages in return. Those who are employed by others are known as employees, and the person who engage them in work or recruit them for the work, they are called as employer. Employment starts when the employee enters into or signs a service agreement. When he signs a service agreement means the agreement which is provided by the employer to employee to join the work. Okay, now we will start with the next slide, that is distinction between business, profession and employment. All these three topics which we have covered in economic activities, that is, it is classified into business, profession and employment. Now let us understand the difference between all these three on the basis of these differences which are given. The first basis of difference is commencement. When we say commencement means to start, to initiate. So business may commence with the decision of the entrepreneur, means as an entrepreneur. Who is an entrepreneur? The person who invests the money, who brings the capital, who invests the money in starting the business. He is called as entrepreneur, who bears the losses, who gets the profit. Okay. So as he commences or start the business is being started. In terms of commencement of profession, the profession may commence or start on completion of any degree course by certain individual. As an individual get to have a completion of degree course and he gets the certificate of that completion of that particular course or practice, he can start his profession. As he gets the degree, he can start the profession. Like a doctor, as he gets his degree with the certificate as a registered or valid one, he can start his practice. He can open a clinic or a hospital or anything. Now employment, it started on joining duty, that is, as in the previous slides I have explained you, that employment starts when an employee signs the service agreement. So as he signs the service agreement, employment starts on that day only. Then second is qualification. When we say qualification means educational qualification. In terms of qualification, the businessmen do not require maximum qualification. With minimum qualification also business can be started. But whereas if we see professional degrees, they require a special qualification, a special prescribed and professional qualification, and even training is required for it. Okay, so maximum qualification which is required for professional degrees. Whereas in employment, qualification basically depends upon the nature of a job, like a clerk, an accountant and various other peoples, okay, a stenographer, various other people who are doing employment. So their qualification depends on the kind of job they are doing. Okay. Third is investment, that is investing or putting the money. So in terms of business, capital requirement depends on the scale of business. When we say scale of business means it is a large scale business or a small scale business, a small or a big business. So accordingly the requirement of capital depends. Whereas in profession, with very limited amount of money or limited investment or capital, the professional person can start his business or he can start his things. Whereas in employment, an employee does not need to contribute any capital in the job. Okay, so no capital amount is required in this. Whereas in terms of risk, if we say risk can be in terms of money, okay, that is losses. In business there is always risk and uncertainty which is attached to business. So there is possibility that a businessman can have certain losses, can have the risk in terms of uncertainty, whereas in the profession there is very little risk present. That is the risk of money or risk of losses, it is very minimum, less. Whereas in employment there is no risk involved. Why? Because the employee is not contributing any money or investing in his office or job place. So minimum risk. Whereas transfer of interest, when we say that transfer of interest is possible with some formalities, that is a businessman can transfer or shift his job or his place with some minimum adjustment or minimum formalities. Whereas in terms of profession, the transfer of interest is not at all possible. Okay, professional degrees cannot exchange. A doctor cannot become a lawyer or lawyer cannot become a doctor. It's not possible, okay, in professional degrees. Whereas in terms of employment, not possible to transfer the service contract. Service contract which an employee is signing with the employer, that service contract cannot be transferred. So here also it is not possible. Then main objective, that is aim. The main objective of business is to earn profit only. Okay, the main objective of a profession is to provide service. When we say to provide service means to give help. Okay, service, to serve the people or the society. This is the objective of all the professional degrees. Whereas in terms of employment, the main objective of employment is to earn income. That is, it depends on the individual. He wants to earn money, he wants to earn salary, and so to satisfy his employer anyway. He needs to satisfy his employer, then only he will get the salary. So this is the main objective of employment, to satisfy the employer and to get the salary. Now code of conduct. Code of conduct, as I said you before, code of conduct means rules, regulation, the pattern of your behavior, how it should be. So in business there is no prescribed code of conduct. For a businessman there is no prescribed or written form of code of conduct which they need to follow. Whereas code of conduct is prescribed strictly in professional degrees. Okay, with all the professional associations. But the terms and condition of service contract are applicable to an employee. As I said, the service agreement, there are certain rules and regulations which are framed by the employer. An employee needs to follow all the rules and regulations while his working period. So there are lot of code of conduct or rules and regulations which is framed by employer, and employee needs to follow that. Now 8th is nature of work involved. That means what kind of work is involved in business, profession and employment. It involves production, purchase, distribution, exchange of goods and service, that is business. In profession, it involves the rendering of personalized service. To render means to provide, to give the personalized services of specialized nature. That means all the professional degrees, doctor, lawyer, engineer, these are professional degrees. So they have their personalized services which they need to provide or render to various people who requires that. Then employment, it involves performing the work which is assigned by the employer. That is, whatever work which is given, assigned or allotted by the employee needs to complete that work, that's all. And last is reward. Reward can be like many of you have heard this word, award and reward. Reward means something in cash, okay, when you get, that is reward. So the reward for business is called as profit. The businessman earns a reward, and what is that reward? That is a profit. For professional degree, it can be fees, like whenever you take an appointment with a doctor, you go to consult a lawyer, you need to pay a fees, a minimum, maximum, whatever fees you need to pay. So the reward for professional degree is fees, and the reward for employment can be a salary or wages. Okay. I hope you understood the things, all the basis of difference between business, profession and employment. Now moving to economic activities, all that part we have completed, meaning, types. Now moving with non-economic activity. When we say non-economic, this non word comes with there is no economic activities. That is all those activities which are not done to earn money, to earn profit, but just for psychological satisfaction, that is your mental satisfaction. If I am helping a person by providing certain food, I am helping a beggar by giving certain amount of money to him, okay, because he requires that help. So that is all non-economic activity, and by which what I get in return, a mental satisfaction, okay. So the activities which are undertaken by an individual with a motive or aim of getting psychological satisfaction, mental satisfaction, are known as non-economic activities. Example, like going to temple, performing various religious rituals. Why we are performing religious rituals and practices? Just for our peace, mental satisfaction. Doing charity, that is providing donation, providing help in terms of money to people. Social services, social services means social work or social upliftment you are doing for the downtrodden or poor people. You are helping them with food, shelter, clothing and many other things. So that is all non-economic activities. Then production for self-consumption. Production for self-consumption means when we are producing certain things for consumption of our own family, like your mother who is preparing food for your family. Okay, if your father, suppose your father is a farmer, he is growing crops for the needs or for the fulfilling the consumption needs of your own family. So what is that? That is non-economic activities. They are not selling those crops, or mother is not preparing food for selling it into the market, okay, to earn money. So these all are non-economic activities. The end result of non-economic activity is not earning profit or creation of wealth, but it gives only mental satisfaction. For example, a teacher teaching in a school, like here I am teaching you people, okay, it is an economic activity, I will get something in return, but because she is getting salary for teaching. But a same teacher, if he or she is teaching to her son or daughter at home, that is not non-economic activity, that is non-economic activities. Why? Because he or she is not getting anything in return in terms of salary or wages, as she will not get any salary for this, but only gets satisfaction by teaching her or his son or daughter. So these are non-economic activities. I hope you understood. Now our last topic will be difference between economic and non-economic activities. As I said, we have covered economic activities, types, non-economic activities, its examples. Now we are proceeding to the difference or distinction between economic and non-economic activities, but on the basis of certain differences. The first point of difference is motive. When we say motive means aim, objective, okay. So these economic activities which are undertaken with an economic motive of earning wealth, money or creation of wealth, whereas all non-economic activities are done with the intention of providing or giving service or psychological satisfaction only. Expectations. Money income is expected from these activities. That means if a person is undergoing a business or economic activities, surely what he will get in return? Money only, profit only, income, wealth, okay. So money income is expected from business or from economic activities. Money income is not expected from these non-economic activities. What you get in return? You will get mental satisfaction only. Purpose. The purpose of these activities, that is economic activities, is creation of wealth. All economic activities are just done with the purpose of creating wealth, creating money or income. The purpose of these non-economic activities is only psychological or mental satisfaction of persons who undertake them. The person who is involved in non-economic activity, he will get only satisfaction. Outcome, that is result or output. The outcome of these activities will be production of goods as well as services. Which kind of activities? Economic activities. Its outcome will be production of goods and services. Whereas the outcome of non-economic activity will be mental satisfaction of persons only who undertakes them. Last is examples. When we say example, can be classification. That is, all economic activities can be broadly classified into business, profession and employment. Whereas non-economic activity, it can be your family functions, wedding, any kind of programs, religious rituals, social service programs and all patriotic activities related to nation or country. All these activities are non-economic activities which are done not to earn money but for mental satisfaction. I hope this was enough for today's lecture, but please dear students, I just want to request you one more time that all these notes and the syllabus, part of syllabus which I have shown you, it is available at the WhatsApp, school WhatsApp group. Okay, you can make it avail or you can get it from there, all the notes and everything. So please dear students, if you have taken commerce as a subject, it's very good, but you need to see this video again and again, and please keep in the habit of learning. Keep on learning, keep on studying and you will do well. Till then, it's time to wind up the class. Thank you.